story of the 1970 Plymouth Barracuda is a tale of innovation, power, and rebellion, a quintessential muscle car that left a lasting mark on automotive history. Let's travel back to the late 1960s and early 1970s, where American car manufacturers were in fierce competition to create the fastest, most powerful, and visually captivating cars. This was the golden age of the muscle car, and Plymouth, a brand under Chrysler, was eager to make its mark. The Plymouth Barracuda originally hit the market in 1964 as a sporty fastback coupe. However, the first generation 1964 to 1966 and even the second generation 1967 to 1969 were more modest attempts compared to what came next. These early Barracudas shared parts with the Plymouth Valiant and were respectable cars, but they lacked the raw power and appeal of rivals like the Ford Mustang and Chevrolet Camaro. By 1970, Plymouth had a new vision for the Barracuda. Chrysler knew they needed to make a bold move if they were to stand out in the muscle car market. This led to the complete redesign of the Barracuda on Chrysler's E-body platform, a change that would reshape the car's identity and reputation. This new Barracuda, commonly known as the Cuda in high-performance trims, was shorter, wider, and much more aggressive-looking, with a long hood, a shorter rear deck, and unmistakable muscle car lines. The 1970 model year marked the debut of this third-generation Barracuda, and it quickly became an icon. Under the hood, the 1970 Cuda offered a range of engines that made it one of the most formidable cars of its time. Buyers could opt for anything from the humble 198 cubic inch, 3.2 inline six, all the way up to the monstrous 426 cubic inch Hemi V8. The Hemi Cuda variant was especially noteworthy, as the Hemi engine produced an advertised 425 horsepower, although enthusiasts knew it likely made even more. This engine made the Cuda capable of blistering acceleration and incredible straight-line speed, and it quickly became a legend on both the streets and the drag strips. The car's exterior design also helped solidify its place in car culture. The 1970 Cuda featured bold colors like Plum Crazy, Lemon Twist, and Vitamin C, along with iconic options like the Shaker hood scoop, which literally shook as the engine revved. The combination of striking design and immense power made the Barracuda one of the most coveted muscle cars of its time. However, the success of the Barracuda was short-lived. As the 1970s progressed, government regulations and rising insurance rates for high-performance cars, along with the oil crisis of 1973, began to put pressure on the muscle car market. By 1974, Plymouth was forced to discontinue the Barracuda. Production of the third-generation Barracuda lasted only until 1974, making the 1970 to 1971 models especially rare and desirable. In the years since, the 1970 Plymouth Barracuda, especially the Hemi Cuda variant, has become a collector's dream, with well-preserved examples fetching hundreds of thousands of dollars at auctions. The car symbolizes an era of unrestrained performance, bold designs, and American automotive ingenuity. It remains a cultural icon, immortalized in movies, music, and car shows around the world, continuing to inspire car enthusiasts and muscle car aficionados over 50 years later. The 1970 Chevrolet Nova SS is an iconic car from Chevy's muscle car era, celebrated for its powerful engine options, straightforward design, and impressive performance for a compact vehicle. The story of this car is rooted in the 1960s, a time when muscle cars were growing in popularity, and Chevy was keen to compete with high-powered vehicles from Ford, Dodge, and other automakers. Beginnings of the Nova. The Nova model first appeared in 1962 as the Chevrolet Chevy 2. It was initially designed as a compact car that was affordable, reliable, and easy to produce. Chevy 2 was developed quickly, in only 18 months, to compete with the Ford Falcon, which had become successful as an affordable family car. The Chevy 2's styling was simple, and it initially offered modest engine options, but it quickly gained a reputation for being a dependable compact car. Evolution into a muscle car. As the 1960s progressed and muscle cars gained popularity, Chevy realized there was a market for high-performance compact cars. In 1968, Chevrolet redesigned the Chevy 2 and rebranded it as the Nova, adding sportier styling and offering more powerful engines. including the now famous SS Supersport package. The Nova SS quickly became popular among car enthusiasts, as it was smaller and lighter than Chevy's larger muscle cars, like the Chevelle, making it more agile and responsive. The 1970 Chevy Nova SS. The 1970 model year was a significant one for the Nova SS. While the car retained the same basic design introduced in 1968, it received minor updates that enhanced its appeal, like new grille designs, taillights, and trim options. But the real highlight was under the hood, where the SS package gave drivers access to some serious power. Buyers could choose from a variety of V8 engines, but the most coveted was the 396 cubic inch, 6.5-litre V8, which produced a remarkable 375 horsepower. The 396 engine turned the compact Nova into a true muscle car capable of holding its own on the street and the drag strip. Design and performance. The 1970 Nova SS was designed to look aggressive without being overly flashy, making it a favourite among car fans who wanted performance without the showy look of larger muscle cars. Its understated styling, lightweight body and powerful engine options made it a sleeper muscle car, one that looked modest but packed a punch. Performance-wise, it was quick off the line and could cover a quarter mile in under 14 seconds, which was impressive for its size and price range. Legacy and popularity. The 1970 Chevy Nova SS became a symbol of accessible American muscle, as it offered the thrill of high performance at a reasonable price. Today, it's one of the most sought-after models for classic car collectors and muscle car enthusiasts, admired for its blend of performance, simplicity, and style. In the years that followed, the muscle car market declined due to new emissions regulations, rising gas prices, and insurance costs, and the Nova's high-performance options were scaled back. But the 1970 Nova SS remains an enduring classic, capturing a unique moment in American automotive history when raw power was king. The 1965 Pontiac GTO is often celebrated as the car that launched the muscle car era and helped make high-performance American vehicles a cultural phenomenon. The story begins in the early 1960s, when Pontiac, traditionally associated with family cars, began to attract a younger, speed-loving crowd. Engineers like John DeLorean, who later became a legend in the automotive world, recognized the potential of combining a big engine with a mid-sized body to create a powerful yet affordable car. At the time, General Motors, GM, Pontiac's parent company, had restrictions on engine size for mid-sized cars, capping it at 330 cubic inches. DeLorean and his team, including Bill Collins and Russ Gee, skirted these restrictions with a clever loophole. They offered the larger 389 cubic inch V8 as an optional package on the Pontiac Tempest Lemans. They named this package the GTO, inspired by Ferrari's iconic 250 GTO. The acronym Gran Turismo Omologato, meaning Grand Touring Homologated, was a bit of an exaggeration, but it hinted at high performance and exclusivity. The GTO quickly gained a reputation. By 1965, the car had evolved with a few key upgrades that turned it into an even more iconic powerhouse. Styling was refined with a more aggressive look. A split grille, stacked headlights, and a freshened body design that made it look muscular and intimidating. Engineers boosted the engine's output with the top tri-power setup, 3 two-barrel carburetors, delivering 360 horsepower, a staggering number for the time. This version of the GTO also introduced a rally gauge cluster and options like the Rally I wheels, adding a sporty edge that captured attention both on the streets and at the track. Pontiac sold nearly 75,000 units of the GTO in 1965, proving that the American public had a thirst for speed and style. The car's blend of affordability, power, and aggressive design won the hearts of the younger generation, and it inspired other automakers like Chevrolet, Dodge, and Ford to create their own muscle cars. Today, the 1965 Pontiac GTO is remembered not only as a car, but as a symbol of the era's automotive innovation and the freedom of the open road. The Pontiac Firebird was a true American muscle car icon, and the 1984 model marked a unique era in its evolution. This model was part of the third generation of Firebirds, 1982 to 1992, a period in which Pontiac redesigned the Firebird to better align with the 1980s demand for sleeker, more fuel-efficient and technologically advanced vehicles. Though smaller and lighter than its predecessors, the 1984 Firebird maintained the model's performance spirit. The 1984 Firebird came in three main trims: the base Firebird, the luxury-oriented SE, and the high-performance Trans Am. Each version boasted Pontiac's innovative design language, featuring a lower drag coefficient, just 0.32, impressive for its time, and pop-up headlights that gave it a futuristic look. The base model was equipped with a 2.5-litre four-cylinder engine, while the SE and Trans Am offered more powerful V6 and V8 options. At the high end, the Trans Am came with a 5.0-litre V8 and offered the choice of a carbureted or fuel-injected setup for more performance-minded drivers. The high-output fuel-injected Trans Am engine produced 190 horsepower, making it a respectable competitor in the 1980s sports car market. Inside, the 1984 Firebird showcased Pontiac's unique Knight Rider inspired digital dashboard available on higher trims, which had futuristic digital readouts and an electronic voice alert system. The car also featured Pontiac's WS6 performance package with upgraded suspension, brakes and tyres for those looking for an enhanced driving experience. In pop culture, the 1984 Pontiac Firebird gained fame largely through the popular TV show Knight Rider, in which a modified 1982 Trans Am starred as KITT, the intelligent talking supercar. This exposure made the Firebird a dream car for many and added to its legendary status among American muscle cars. The Ford GT40 story is a tale of rivalry, innovation, and triumph in motorsport. It all started in the early 1960s when Henry Ford II aimed to bring American prowess to the world of high-speed endurance racing and specifically to the prestigious 24 Hours of Le Mans. Ford's attempt to purchase Ferrari in 1963 became the catalyst for what would eventually lead to one of the most iconic American racing cars ever built, the GT40. National 1. Rivalry ignites. Ford and Ferrari. Ford wanted to solidify its presence in the high-performance segment, and buying Ferrari, a legendary racing company with multiple Le Mans wins, seemed like a perfect move. After extensive negotiations, Ferrari abruptly cancelled the deal, opting to remain independent. Henry Ford II felt snubbed and declared a new mission. Ford would build a car that would beat Ferrari on their own turf at Le Mans. 2. The birth of the GT40. To challenge Ferrari, Ford set up an elite team of engineers and designers. They also partnered with Lola Cars, a British racing company, to help develop a high-performance chassis. The result was the prototype GT40, with GT standing for Grand Touring, and 40 signifying its height of just 40 inches off the ground. However, the early models, powered by a small block 4.2-litre V8, had reliability issues and failed to finish the 1964 Le Mans. 3. Carroll Shelby and the GT40 Mach 2. In 1965, Ford turned to Carroll Shelby, a seasoned racer and former Le Mans winner. Shelby and his team re-engineered the GT40 into the Mach 2, which featured a massive 7.0-litre V8 engine, drastically enhancing the car's performance and reliability. In 1966, Ford was finally ready to take on Ferrari with its new, powerful GT40 Mach 2. 4. The 1966 Le Mans victory. In the famous 1966 24 Hours of Le Mans, Ford entered 8 GT40s in a relentless campaign against Ferrari. After 24 hours of grueling racing, Ford secured a dramatic 1-2-3 finish. Bruce McLaren and Chris Amon were officially declared winners after a controversial staged finish, marking the first American manufacturer to win at Le Mans and putting Ferrari firmly in its rear-view mirror. 5. Dominance in the late 1960s. Ford's GT40 continued its dominance in 1967, 1968 and 1969, winning Le Mans 4 years in a row. The GT40 Mach 4, introduced in 1967, was the first race car built and designed entirely in the United States and achieved the fastest lap and highest top speed in Le Mans history at the time. By the end of the 1969 race season, Ford had proven itself on the world stage and the GT40's legacy was cemented. 6. The return of the GT. In the early 2000s, Ford revived the GT40's legacy with the introduction of the Ford GT. an homage to the original car, but with updated technology and engineering. It was followed by another generation of the GT in 2016, which went on to win its class at the 24 Hours of Le Mans that same year, commemorating the GT40's 50th anniversary win in 1966. The Ford GT40 story is legendary in motorsport, a testament to American engineering, a response to an Italian slight, and an unforgettable saga of victory on the world stage. It remains one of the most iconic race cars in history, symbolizing innovation, power, and the spirit of competition.